Greetings and salutations, everyone. This is Swedish Jeff, and there has been an epidemic, or some might say an apidemic, of a lot of videos lately of some great people. Dave Gardner, Al Red Sox fan, Tebow, a lot of people in the community who have been showing the master game for APBA baseball. And today, you can't see me, but you can see the board here. This is my score sheet. This is, actually, I got this off of Amazon. The Mets and the Cardinals, this is 1987. And this is the lineup here. Mookie Wilson leading it off. We're going to be playing at Busch Stadium, although ballpark effects are not going to be used for this demonstration. This is what this is going to be. And Mookie Wilson leading off. Tim Tuffle batting second. Keith Hernandez batting third. Gary Carter is hitting cleanup. Darryl Strawberry batting fifth. Kevin McReynolds batting sixth. Hojo Howard Johnson batting seventh. And Rafael Santana batting eighth. And pitching on the mound is the lefty Bob Ojeda. For the St. Louis Cardinals, leading off is Vince Coleman in left field. Batting second is Ozzie Smith. Batting third is Tom Herr. Batting fourth, Jack Clark. Batting fifth is Willie McGee. Batting sixth, Terry Pendleton at third. Batting seventh and right is Jim Lindeman. Batting eighth, Tony Pena behind the plate. And on the mound is John Tudor. Now, I am using the opening day rosters for 87. I'm not going to change them because I am going to be playing that season. And I went with the two men who started opening days for that year. This is Bob Ojeda's card. So I'm going to use my pen. Now, if you're playing basic, you're going to be looking at this number here, 22. The Z still is a factor. C grade is the pitcher. We see that. But this is going to be, if you're new to the master game, this is going to be the new rating here is 7. And, 7 is going to tell you, it's going to be, brain fart there. 7 is going to be your determination for when you roll the dice, and I'll show you that here. But this rating up here is Q4. And in the booklet that you get with you here, you got ratings of Q0, which means no reduction in fatigue. Q1 is you reduce the grade by 1 point at the beginning of the 9th inning, and then 1 additional point after that. Q2 is reduce the grade by 1 point at the beginning of the 8th inning, and then so on and so forth. So Q4, which is Mr. Ojeda, means that you will reduce the grade by 1 point at the beginning of the 7th inning. So basically, he's good for about 6 innings, and it's similar to the 22 batters face count. So that's Bob Ojeda. Now, Mr. Tudor, if you look at his numbers here, he's a 25 on the basic and a C grade. But he's a Q4 up here, and down here he's 9, and we'll see that in the dice rolls. Q4 means that you will reduce his grade by 1 point at the beginning of the 7th inning, same as Ojeda. So we're going to start here with the Mets leading it off. And leading off for the Mets is Mookie Wilson. And if you look at this here, SA means straight away. When you're playing basic, when you're playing master, that is what the SA means. This -5 and +4, these are the lefty-righty splits. Versus left-handed pitchers, Mookie is a -5, which means that anytime you see a minus on a hitter's card, it's not good for the offense. It's good for the defense. Plus is good for the offense and certainly good for Mookie. So in this situation here, -5, what you're going to do, if you go to John Tudor's card, so you know he's a 9, you're going to add 5, which is going to make it 14. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice here with the aforementioned Mookie Wilson. And it's a 53. 53 on his card is a 17. And I'm going to try to show you here on the booklet. A little bit hard from that angle here. But 17 gives you 3 possible results. And let me see if I can get that in here. So let's see here. Sorry about the glare. 17 is... Fielding 3 is single, second on error and an error to the right fielder. Fielding 2 is going to be single to right. Fielding 1 is going to be a fly out to the right fielder. Now, the Cardinals' defensive rating is a 44. However, you're not just going to go by that and say, oh, fielding 1, that's easy, and that'll be 1 out. What you're going to do here is you're going to go to this chart. And this is your fielding column finder chart here. So this is going to be for the outfield. And you can see here, you're going to see a 3, a 2, and a 1. And on the left side are going to be numbers 11 through 66. These are your dice rolls. What you're going to do is roll the dice, and whatever the fielding rating is going to be how you determine the result from the chart. So let's just give you an example here. 2, 3, 15. So we rolled a 15 here. So if you go to 15, let me get that out of the glare here. So 15 on a fielding 1 is going to be a 1. So had I rolled a 23, I would look at fielding 2. If I rolled a 45, I would look at fielding 3, even though it's fielding 1. So because it's a 15 on fielding 1, it's going to be a 1, which is, we go back to that chart again here. Let's go back to it. You can tell I've played this a lot, I know. But I'm getting used to it. I'm getting the hang of it, getting there. And that is going to be with 17. That is going to be a fly out to right field. So Mookie Wilson flies out. Going to write that F9 on your scorecard, or I'm going to write it on mine anyway. So he flies out to Jim Lindemann, 1 away. Next up is Tim Tuffle. And on his card, it's going to have a +1. Tutor is a 9, so you're going to make that an 8. And we'll see what happens here with the dice roll. Tuffle rolls a 26. Let's get his card out of here. 26. 26 is 13, and that's a strikeout. That doesn't change from the basic. Now, if Tutor is an R rating, then that is going to be a fly out to center field. So Tuffle is going to go down. And that'll bring up Keith Hernandez. On his rating here, -6 versus lefties, +2 versus righties. Ooh, I didn't want to get that on the card. And -6, which you add to Tutor's card, is going to be 15. So roll the dice again. 65, which is going to be 35 on his card. And that is a ground out. Let me show you this here. 35 is going to be a ground out to first. 35 here, ground out to first. Ground out to first. Ground out to third, over to first. So even though it's master game, no matter what, a 35 with bases empty is going to be a ground out to third. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. So now the Cardinals are going to come up to bat. And I want to give you a little brief overview here of the master game, but I also want to kind of show you some of the strategies that I do. And, maybe some people might take some pointers, and some people might say, that's cool, but I don't do that. But just to kind of give you an idea of how I play the game. So that'll bring up Vince Coleman here, and he is a +1. And Ojeda is a 7, so that's going to drop it down to a 6. Roll the dice. 26. 26 is a 27. And Ojeda does not have any letters next to his name. So 27. I'll show you this here. 27. Get the pin out. 27 is going to be a ground out to third. Now, if he had an X next to his card, if Ojeda did, that would be a strikeout. 27 is going to be out at first. Third baseman to first baseman. Let me go to fielding 1. No matter what, it's going to be a ground out to third. So Coleman grounds out to third. Simple. And nothing is not any different from the basic game. It would have been a ground out to third. Ozzie Smith, the Wizard of Oz, look at his defensive rating, 10. That's incredible. That's awesome. So Ozzie is a -6 versus lefties, which is going to add to 7, make it 13 for Ojeda. Now he rolls a 61, which is going to be a 39. Now, if I go to 39 here, it's going to say use the RP board. Now, what the heck is the RP board? RP board is the rare play board. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn the page to bases empty RP board here. What you're going to do is you're going to remember that 39. And you're going to come here and you're going to roll the dice. And we'll do that right now. And let's roll the dice. 24. So I rolled a 24. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at 39, which is going to say 29. Coming over to 29. And all that leads to a strike. And there it is, strike one. Strike one to Ozzie Smith. So it wasn't really a rare play. But sometimes, actually, many times, you will see a rare play there. So Ozzie gets another shot. And remember, it's a 13, so it's going to be 55. Okay. Doubles. 55 is an 8. So now is where the pitcher's number comes into play. 7 plus 6 is 13. You're going to see this chart here, the pitching change table. What the heck is that? Well, I'll tell you what the heck that is. You're going to look at number 13 here, and you're going to come down to 8. Because we rolled an 8, 13 is 31, which means you're going to come to the fielding chart. And what does that say? Fly out to center, line drive out to center, and fly out to center. So just like that, Ozzie flies out to center. There are 2 outs. Or as they used to say on Home Run Derby, 2 outs. And that will bring up Tommy Herr. Herr is a +4, which means that he's going to drop Ojeda down to a 3. So let's see if he can get something going here. 42. 42 is 13. Get out of the blur there, Jeff. Okay, strikeout. That is a strikeout, and down he goes. So 1, 2, 3 inning here for the first for the Mets and the Cardinals. No score at Busch Stadium. And now the Mets are going to come up, and they've got their cleanup man here. Let's get the cards out. And Gary Carter. Kid Carter here. He is a +2, and he had 20 home runs that year. So +2 to Tudor is going to knock him down to a 7. And it's a 26. 26 is a 30. And for those of you who have played APBA for a long time, you know 30 is going to be a fly out to left. 31 is a fly out to center. 32 is a fly out to right. So mark that F7 on your score sheet. Darryl Strawberry now comes up. He is, you see, PR. I should have said something earlier about that, but PR means pull to right. If it's a PL, pull to left. PB is pull from both sides of the plate. If it's an SA, as I showed you earlier, it's a straightaway batter. So -8 from Tudor is going to add to Tudor's card. It's going to make him a 17. 35. 35 is 22. Now, 22 is an interesting one here because there are 3 possible results here. First one says, first on error, catcher fumbles, bunt, or chopper, EC. The other result for fielding 2 is strikeout and an asterisk, first on error, chopper fumbled at plate. That is if we have 2 outs. And then there is fielding 1, which is out at first, catcher to first. So what you want to do is you remember the 22 is going to be for, let me get that back here. 22 is the catcher. So just keep in mind, okay, I've got to look at the catcher. And Tony Pena, without guessing here, I'm going to say he's either an 8 or a 9. And there he is. He is an 8. So just remember that he's an 8 rating. So let's go to the fielding chart. The fielding column finder chart. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the catcher here. Let me get this out of the way here. Sorry. So you go to the catcher. So what you do is you're going to, let me get that in a better angle here. 8. So there is Pena's rating. So you're going to roll the dice. And let's do that right now, shall we? Roll the dice. It is 61. So 61. And Pena is an 8. So that's actually 2, which means you're going to look at fielding 2. The fielding 2 chart. Even though the Cardinals are a fielding 1, you're still going to look at the fielding 2 chart as it pertains to Pena. So in that instance here, let me go pull that back up again. Let's see. So it was a 22. So it's going to be strikeout, catcher to pitcher. So it looks like maybe he swung and missed, and maybe the catcher dropped the ball and then threw to first base. So strikeout. Nevertheless, it is a K on the score sheet. And next up is going to be Kevin McReynolds here. And he is a 0. So 0 means that there is no change. So Tudor remains a 9. So we're going to roll the dice again. 51. And it's a 9. So you're going to come back to the pitcher change table, the pitching change table here. You're going to go to 9, which is, all of these are the pitcher's numbers. You roll the dice, and then you refer to this here. So 9 and 9 is 34. 34 says, let's see, Tudor is, he doesn't have a rating. I take that back. Ojeda had a Z on his name. I apologize for that. So 34, let's get that in range here. Pop fly out to shortstop and a Y is a strikeout. Line drive out to shortstop for fielding 2. Pop fly out for fielding 1 and a Y. So Tudor does not have a Y, so it's going to be a pop out to short. And 1, 2, 3, that is it for the Mets in the top of the second. So now we're heading to the bottom of the second. A little low-scoring affair thus far. So now we've got the Cardinals coming up to the plate here. And Jack Clark is going to lead it off here. And he is, I'm surprised at this, is a -1. I thought that'd be a little bit better than that. -1, which will add 1 to Ojeda, making him an 8. 21 is 13, which is a strikeout. So Ojeda gets his second strikeout. Clark goes down. Willie McGee is at the plate now, and he is a +1 straight away. So we're going to take away 1 from Ojeda, making him a 6. 23 is a 12. And if you go to the chart again here, it's the same all the way around. Ground out to first. Put out by the first baseman. Ground out to first. Ground out to first. Simple. Simple. So it's going to be G3. And that's 2 outs. Or as they used to say on Home Run Derby, 2 away. And that will bring up Terry Pendleton. TP. And he's a +2 versus lefties, straightaway hitter. So that's going to take away 2 from Ojeda, marking him down to a 5. 56. And that's a 34. Get that in there. 34, which we already know is going to be a pop out to short, or line drive out to short, or a pop out to short. If he was a Y pitcher, it would be a strikeout. That is it. And that's all she wrote for this inning. No score. heading into the top of the third inning as the Mets come up to bat. And leading off this inning, by the way, I created the lineups based on what I thought the managers would have used for this video. Howard Johnson, Hojo, and he is a +1, and you can see here he is a PB. Pull that a little bit better there. There we go, +1. Takes away from Tudor, which is going to make him an 8. 63, come on, let's get some offense going already. Let's go. 63-30 is a fly out to left. Where's all the offense? This is 1987. I probably just jinxed myself. Always let a sleeping dog lie. And that will bring up Rafael Santana. Did not know his nickname was Magic. Interesting. 0 means no change, so Tudor remains a 9. 65. So 65 is going to be 35. And you can look on this chart here for the pitching changing table, and you will see sometimes there is a 35 if he's got a 28, or if he's got a 2 or a I'm sorry, not a 2 but a 1, then you would read that. But otherwise, very rarely that's going to happen. So 35 is, as you can see here, ground out at first, third baseman to first, third baseman to first, third baseman to first. Now, if there was a W on the pitcher's card, that would be a walk. There is not, so it's a grounder, or as they would say on Talking Electronic Baseball, it's a grounder. And that will bring up Bob Ojeda, who is a left-handed batter, and he is a -6. I'm not a betting man, but I'm thinking he's not going to get on base here. So that's going to add 6 to Tudor's card, making it 15. It's a 31. And of course, because I just said that, he rolls a 14, which means, drum roll please, base on balls, batter takes first. ZZ is extremely rare, although it does happen. So Bob Ojeda, after I just opened my mouth, I put my foot in it, and now we finally have a man on base. So now you're going to turn to the runner on first base chart. And now Mookie Wilson comes up for his second at-bat. Now, Bob Ojeda, let's show you the steal ratings here, is N. And speed is 13. You cannot steal when you feel like it. You don't just say, well, I'd like to steal a base. You cannot do that. There is a steal allowance chart here. So this is how that works. Let me try and, if there is an A letter, that means anytime. B, this is stealing second now, only when behind by 1 run, tied or ahead by any number of runs. Then you got C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, no. And then you got an R, but this is an N, which means never, never, never fade away. Okay, never run away. And he's never going to run away, exactly. He's never going to run, period. So that is a never, which means that unlike Tom Seaver, who tried to steal a base in the basic game and got thrown out, he is never going to try to steal a base. So now we're going to go back to the chart, and we got Mookie Wilson coming up, who, as you remember, is a -5. It's going to add that to Tudor's card, making him a 14. 65. 65 is a 35. And on this one, 35, let's see here. 35 is a foul out, runner holds for fielding 3. Foul out, runner holds. Foul out, runner holds. So all 3 of them, no matter what, is going to be a foul out to the catcher. And guess what? That is it for the Mets at the top of the third. Now the Cardinals are coming up to bat. And let's see if we can get some offense going here. I'm kind of bummed. I don't know about you. I want to see some offense. So here comes Jim Lindemann, who is a -2. Going to add 2 to Ojeda's 7. It's going to make him a 9. 65. Oh, I was really hoping that was going to be a 66, but it's not. 35, which we know is a ground out to third. 5-3. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Tony Pena is a -1. It's going to add 1 to Ojeda, making him an 8. 25. 25 is a 9. Okay. So he's an 8. Ojeda is an 8. So let's look at a 9 here. That is going to be 33. So 33 on the 9 is going to be a second baseman in play here. Let's show that. Pop fly out to second. Y is a strikeout. Line drive out to second. And last but not least is a pop fly out to second. So if there's a Y next to the pitcher's card, it's a strikeout. Otherwise, it is going to be an out to the second baseman. So I'm just going to write that as P4. Now John Tudor is going to come up. And Tudor, like Ojeda, not known for the bat, is -5. Let's see if we can get that better in range there. Okay, -5. So -5 plus 7 is a 12. Tudor rolls a 42. If he walks, I'm going to laugh. No, he strikes out. Okay, that makes more sense. So Tudor goes down, and that'll be it for the Cardinals as we head to the 4th inning. No score. And now the Mets got Tim Teufel, the originator of the Teufel Shuffle, is going to come up to the plate here. And he, as we showed you before, is a +1. Come on, somebody get something going. That's going to make Tudor a 10. An 8. So 23 is a 12. That is a ground out to first. Easy out. 1 away. Keith Hernandez is a -6. That's going to add to Tudor's, making him a 15. 64. 41. Okay, that is another one of the rare play boards. So we're going to go back to rare play. 41. Let's see here. 41. And when we roll the dice, let's go roll the dice. And 42 and 41. So 42. 41 is a 30. So if I go to 30, okay, this is showing balk. I haven't seen this yet. So balk, runner to second. If pitcher is BKO, runner goes to third on wild pitch. Balk, runner to second. Oh, what am I doing? That's runner on first. I was like, what the heck? You can tell, wow, I am really prepared today. I was like, what the heck happened there? Why would you be balking? Okay, foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. Foul ball. So that is going to be another chance for Keith Hernandez against his old teammates. Let's see if he bites the hand that once fed him. It's going to be a 15, 32, 26 is a ground out to second. Just like in the basic game. So it's going to be a ground out second. Score that 4-3. Let me move my camera a little bit here. Let's see. Okay. 4-3. And here comes Gary Carter, who is a +2. And add to Tudor is going to make him an 11. No. +2 is going to be a 7. See, I was testing you. 16, 28. And this is another one of those results that's going to be the same thing no matter what here. So 28 is going to be a ground out to short. If the pitcher's got a K rating, it'll be a strikeout. Ground out to short. Ground out to short. Where are we at? Ground out to short. No matter what, right across the board. It's a ground out to short. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is it for the Mets as we head to the bottom of the 4th. And we got a heck of a pitcher's duel going on here. So here is Vince Coleman, who's a +1. That's going to drop Ojeda down to a 6. Come on, Vince. 51. I think he finally got something going. Thank you. I need you for this demonstration, Pickles. That's his nickname, Pickles. 11. So he rolls an 11. Ojeda drops to a 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the pitching change table is 6. And 11 is nothing there. So it is, let's go back here again. Single, beats out, bunt, or infield hit. Okay, now we're cooking. Vince Coleman is on. And that's when Busch Stadium used to have that sound effect that would go, and whatever it was that they did back in the day. So we got runner on first. Okay. No score, and we got Ozzie Smith coming up here. So there are many different probabilities here of what we can do with Ozzie Smith. We can bunt and try to move Coleman over to second. We can do the hit and run, and Ozzie does not have any home runs, so you're not going to have a 1 on this card. So you could hit and run with him, not worry about giving up a home run. Or you could steal second or attempt to with Vince Coleman. So let's go back to, let's look at this first of all. Coleman has a B32 steal rating. 32 is a very good number. Just think of 32 out of 36. Pretty good. So if you look at the steal allowance chart here for a B, right here, only when behind by 1 run, tied, or ahead by any number of runs. Oh, we're stealing. Oh, we are definitely stealing with Vince Coleman. So he's a 32. So what I do is you got to use a little math. Dun, dun, dun. And I know math was not one of my better subjects in school. Actually, it was my worst. But it's going to be fun. I promise it's going to be painless. Don't be afraid. So what you do is you look at Tudor's card here. And this is going to be an MF. Please, no jokes. What this means is moves to first. So you're going to add +2. We'll take +2. What that does is it's good for the pitcher, but you're going to subtract that from Coleman, which is going to make him a 30. Now, Pena, because we're holding the runner here, we're going to look at Pena's throwing arm. And Pena, where it says TH up here, is a -1. So that's going to add 1 to Coleman's number, which is a 31. So he basically has 31 out of 36 chances here to make it. What you're going to do is you're going to look at 31, and you got a stealing chance table here. You've got numbers 11 through 36. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll the dice, and I've got to roll 31 or less. So let's see what happens. 31. Ooh, the tension is mounting. 31. So you come here, and there's 31. Right below is a 13. So if that number would have said 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, he would have been out. So Coleman is going to steal second, and he's in there. And he has stolen second base. And now you got Ozzie Smith coming up. We got a man in scoring position here. What is Ozzie going to do? He could bunt. It's a low-scoring game. But what I do is I look at the earned run averages of the pitchers here. Now, Ojeda, who didn't pitch very much because he was injured a lot in 87, 3.88. Granted, 87 was not a year for pitchers. If it's a guy like a Greg Maddux or a Roger Clemens or someone who has an ERA like under 3 or even under 2, and it's a low-scoring game, I probably would bunt. But in this situation, I want Ozzie to swing. I don't want to give up an out. Not this early in the game. So Ozzie is, we got runner on second, -6. plus 7 is 13. Let's go for it. He gets a 62, which is a 29. And if you go to 29 on the chart, it's going to say out at first, runner to third. For 2, out at first, runner to third. For 1, out at first, runner to third. So now Coleman goes to third base. And we're going to score that a 3-1. 1 out. But now you got a man on third, and Tommy Herr comes up. Now, what do you do? Pop quiz, hot shot. What do you do? What do you do? Well, you can either do a squeeze play, which I don't know why you would do a squeeze play this early in the game. I know Whitey Herzog was aggressive, but I don't think that he would want to do that. If it's in the 9th inning or extra innings and you need to get that 1 run, I would say go for it. But in this situation here, I want Tommy Herr to swing the bat. I don't want to take the bat out of my hitter's hands. If I'm the Mets, I'm playing infield deep. And you have a choice here, and it even says on the chart here, defensive team manager must state position of infield deep, D or C, which is in. And as Edie Brickell would say, don't let me get too deep. But we're going to play deep here, give up the run for the out. If Herr grounds out and Coleman scores, which is a very distinct possibility, we got 2 outs for the Mets. So +4 on Herr's card is going to be minus that on Ojeda's, which makes him a 364. And look at that. Lucky number 13. Struck him out. He is down. And now there are 2 outs. And now you're thinking, maybe you should have called the squeeze play, Jeff. But we didn't. And now Jack Clark comes up, a -1, which is going to make Ojeda an 8. Clark, oh my goodness, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. What do you see? 66. And that's a 1. However, you're still going to look on the chart. You still got to look at the chart. So 8 on a 1. So you come here. Come here. And you go to 8. And there's 1, and there's nothing there. What is a 1? It is a home run. And Jack Clark knocks it out of the park. And it is finally a run scores. 2 runs. And it's now 2-0 in favor of the Cardinals. How about that? And now Willie McGee comes up. Bases are empty. He is a +1, which knocks Ojeda to a 6. 61. 24. Let's pull that back. Ground out to short. 24, just like the basic, is a ground out to short. But the Cardinals now have the lead 2-0. And the Mets are down by 2, but they're not worried about it. You know, the Mets are cocky. They're like, yeah, we got this. We can win. We can beat them with one hand tied behind our back. Whatever. Yeah. So here comes Darryl Strawberry, who's a -8, which is going to make Tudor 17 from a 9. That's a 55. Ooh, 55 is an 8. So let's look at 17. 17, 8. So you just got to remember those numbers here. And you go to 17. Come down to 8 is a 30, which is a fly ball to, you got it, left field. See, who said this was complicated? Come on. You know? Relationships on Facebook are complicated. This is not complicated. We got this. Kevin McReynolds is a 0 straight away, so that means no change on Tudor's card. Stays a 9. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh. 66. McReynolds is a 1. And a 9 on a 1. Let's go back to the pitcher's chart. And let me just show you something here. That is going to be a blank. Now, if it's an H, you would convert the 1 to a 6, which means that you would turn a home run into a double. Likewise, if you roll a 6 and you get an L and an M on the pitcher's card, if they have an L or an M, that'll turn a double into a home run. This doesn't matter. It's a home run for Kevin McReynolds. And just like that, the Mets are saying, told you. So now they've cut the lead in half. And their newest acquisition is being greeted at the dugout by his teammates who are very happy. So now Hojo comes up, +1 on his card. And that's going to take away from Tudor, who's now an 8. 26 is a 27. And 27 is the same results here. I showed you this earlier, but it's going to be ground out to third on every one, 5-3. So that'll do it. Hojo grounds out. That'll bring up Rafael Santana, who is a 0. And here we go. 51 is a 9. 9 and 9. So here we go. That's a 34. 34 is a pop fly out to short, and that is the end of that inning. So just a little demonstration here to show you. And I thought this might be helpful. Hopefully it was. This is just a little bit of my strategy here and a little bit of a brief overview of the master game. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please leave them. And thank you very much for watching, everybody. Take care.